Good morning. It is Saturday morning. Hope you're having a good day thus far. It's a little cooler out there, hence the jacket. I was out throwing the ball for the dog, and it was like, yeah, it's kind of chilly out here. We've got a lot of fog along the coast. The cooling trend continues, and that's great news for firefighters. And the smoke is the thing, especially up around South Lake Tahoe today. We'll look at that. A couple big fires still burning, some containment, but it's amazing how little smoke's coming off them, like the Garnet fire down here. You can see some of the smoke, and that's a lot of smoke, but not as much as you would expect for a multi 30,000 acre fire. This area up here, let's see if we can pick it out. This is the visible satellite as of 8 o'clock, 8:15 this morning. But see how the weather system is scooping and pushing the fog out ahead of, or the smoke out ahead of it. So there's all the bad air quality, and you'll see that when we look at the national air quality map. You'll see a lot of smoke concerns up in here, up in Oregon as well, Northern California. This is fog, actually, believe it or not, shooting across a delta breeze, bringing in some low cloud and fog, probably mixed with a little bit of smoke, but not bad. I checked the Central Valley, and the smoke not that bad. Most of the smoke now is kind of the direction of the wind. You can see the direction of everything is kind of going this way. That's the flow, kind of a westerly flow for the next 3 or 4 days, and that's going to continue to give us optimal firefighting conditions for September. So that's really all you can ask for. Hope you got a big weekend planned. I haven't decided my day yet. Had a little something yesterday and the day before. Yeah, I didn't feel that good. And I was like, yesterday I did a thing where I got done with this, and I was like, I'm just going to sit around. What did I do? I read, played guitar. I think I took a nap. I didn't feel good. I know. There you go. I feel good today. So I'll come up with a plan for today. Surf doesn't look all that amazing, and like I say, I'm not a big in the fog surfer. I like it when the sun's out. Okay, so all the features. There's the deep marine layer, right? So again, this is the most important, useful map of any map. Like, you wake up this morning, and you can, any time of day, you pull this thing up. You go, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? I want to be in the sun. I want to be in the fog. I want to be in the smoke. I want to be in the heat. I want to be in the mountains. I want to be right. You can see some bubbling activity there. It's just a quick glance. Years ago, when I lived in Marin for forever, and I had a house over on a hill, like I had some acreage and stuff way up on a place called Fawn Drive, off of Butterfield. You might know it, and I could see like all the way around. I could see the Napa Valley. I could see Mount Tamalpais. I could see White's Hill. I could see Bald Mountain. I could see Bay Bridge. Everything. And so I'd get up in the morning and I'd go out on the deck with a cup of coffee, like I do here. Interesting. Like I do here, and I kind of drink a cup of coffee and I look around, where do I want to go today? And I used to do that. And this map is that thing. It's where do I want to go today? What's the weather going to, is the weather going to cooperate? Okay, so right now we've got smoke. That is Heavenly Valley. Yeah, let's take a look at that. This is smoke. See, you'll see it looks like it kind of settles down in the morning. Cooler air. Wow. So that's not so bad. This is an hour or 2 hours ago. 7 o'clock. It gets really bad here in the last couple of frames. I wonder if it's just the sun angle. Yeah, just smoke. So air quality up at the lake level, not so awesome as you would expect or you would like. And it will be like that probably throughout much of the day. Should be better by this afternoon. Here are those 3 big fires I was talking about. The Garnet fire, that's at, 34,000 acres. The Salt fire is at 24,000 acres. Or pardon, 22,000 acres, and the Gifford fire is at 131,000 acres. So these 3 fires, surprisingly, not putting out that much smoke, especially the 2 down here. But the Garnet's still throwing smoke, but not as much. A lot of smoke down towards Bakersfield as well. But just an interesting note that for the size of these fires, it kind of gives an indication of containment potential, and there is containment. Garnet's got 14% on it, and let's see, we got 25% on Salt fire. So containment, it's not everything, but it's always a good sign. Containment, at least in my mind, that's kind of the way the Forest Service and CAL FIRE lets us know, okay, we're okay here. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a hard, fast number at all. Maybe it is. Maybe if you're a firefighter, you know that. But to me, it's more like a feeling, okay, we got good containment, we got this many acres, that we've kind of surrounded, and we're feeling good about it. So we're going to call that 10%. It's like a 10% chance of rain, right? It's not like perfect, but it's That's a bad example. Okay, so more fires. The picket fire still burning 6,000 acres. That's up around Napa Valley. That started a while back, and again, it looks like that thing has done some pretty good burning. And really, when I say pretty good burning, I mean it, because these fires. Anytime you get these fires, like these fires up here in the Pacific or in the northern part of the state, they've been burning all summer. It feels like. They are, they're monitoring those fires, and with this weather pattern, they can kind of let them smolder and burn out and clear out some brush and create a lessened fire landscape, which is our hope. Here is the purple air map. This is air quality. Again, this is kind of like the containment thing. It's like, is it spot on? Exactly, no, but you can see the areas that are kind of not doing well, and the areas that are doing better, for all it's worth. Just because there's a lot of sensors, and a lot of these are personal sensors. Like, so they're not. You'll get anomalous readings on these maps, but that's fine. Just triangulate and go with the bulk. My freaking statistics teacher's rolling over in his grave right now. Okay, so here is some bad smoke area up here. Up in Washington, up in the Cascades, so that's really nasty air quality. Up around Mount Shasta, you guys have some nasty air quality. I looked at the live picture, which we'll look at later. Not as bad as it's showing, but there is smoke up there. And then we come down here, it'll reload, and then you can see up around the live picture I showed you. You can see up here around South Lake Tahoe, not great air quality as well. And then down by the fires, that's more towards Don Pedro and Copperopolis in those areas. So yeah, that's the way the day's gonna go. But I have to tell you, this weather pattern, if you're an air quality fiend, this weather pattern is gonna whisk things away pretty rapidly. Here we are, what is this? This is the forecast, well, this is this morning, and then we're gonna go into the future. So this is smoke, and find your area, and this is tonight at 6 o'clock. And you see it kind of getting whisked out, right? Right, that's by tomorrow morning. So a lot of the smoke gets kind of pushed away. Doesn't mean the fires go away. It just means that the general flow is going out of the area, which is awesome. It's a good pattern. This is the awesome pattern for this time of year. If you got to go September 6th, then you got some fires burning and it's been dry, you haven't had rain, this is the pattern you want. At least that's how it feels to me. This is the deepened marine layer, which is part of that pattern. It's a symptom of weakened high pressure in that marine layer. Ooh, it was up over the camera, so that's over 2,500 feet last night. Shallows out a little bit this morning. This is Mount Tamalpais, looking kind of back towards Pacifica and San Francisco. Golden Gate Bridge would be in this shot if it wasn't so foggy. So that's right up at the camera. So we go to the inversion, we're going to expect to see 2,500 foot inversion, because that's what, here, let me do this. A little bit bigger. Yeah, no, let's try this. Let's just try that. This, it's kind of an awkward image, but again, profiler yesterday, deep marine layer, shallowed out a little bit, deepened a little last night, shallowed a little early this morning, and it was all the way back up to about 2,500 feet. So we sort of saw, this is Fort Ord, so it's further south, but it gives you a good indication. So that depth of that marine layer, right, that's moisture, that's humidity, that's firefighting tools that is now able to get up over the coastal hills. Coastal hills, just rough it out, average them at 1,000 feet. So if you're at 2,000 feet, that means 1,000 foot of moisture plume is going to get up into the Delta, up into Sacramento, and creep its way into a lot of nooks and crannies that hadn't seen the higher humidities and such. So that's an awesome thing. This is the pattern shift, Weather Service sticking with it. I love the simplicity of their graphic. This is the jet stream positioning expected over the next week or so. And that trough, right? So this trough here, this is the cooler air to the north, warmer air to the south, but the cooler air is getting closer to us, right? And this there's low pressure in here. There's a disturbance, counterclockwise flow, and it's bumping, it's weakening that high pressure, and it's not doing it just for a couple of days. It's doing it for, well, we'll see it coming up in the models, but it looks like it's going to be unsettled or mild, cool weather pattern, good for firefighters, good for air quality, right through the week, and there is a chance for some scattered showers. We'll look at that as well. I guess I kind of buried the lead there. There's a chance for scattered showers next week. But I'm more enthused about air quality and just the basic RH increasing in the next couple of days, which it is. These are the forecast highs for today, or the highs from today. I told you the story about these are the highs from today. Here, let's do tomorrow. I want you to see this. So, right, cooler. Let's go backwards. 86 in Redding, 89 in Redding today, 86 in Redding tomorrow, 86 in Sacramento today, 85 in Sacramento tomorrow. The reason I stopped was because I used to work with a guy, Brian Sussman. He's a fine guy. He's a meteorologist. He's a good TV guy, man. The guy was crushing it. But he did a move, like he'd pause. And I just blather. No, I mean, not blather, it's all, but I'm like you maybe. I'm more just like get excited and talk how I talk. And he was the king of pausing, which would not hurt me a bit. So I always used to, I could never do it. But that, you just stop. And then you start again. And it was... But he was really good at it. And so, he'd stop at the right time and start at the right time, which I don't think I ever figured it out. Yeah, Brian Sussman, if you live in the Bay Area, you remember him. Mark Thompson was another one that was good at that. He was my old boss back in the 80s. This is the HRRR. We're looking for thunderstorms right now. So today, Lake Tahoe. You going to see anything? We didn't see any red flag warnings around. Let's see. No, let's go to HRRR high resolution. Shows all the thunderstorms further east. There's some moisture left, a little bit of moisture left up here, Trinity Alps. Which, by the way, I have spent so little time I've been everywhere a lot in California. I pride myself in that. Trinity Alps, I have spent very, very little time up there. I got to get on that. Okay, so here's the vorticity map, 500 millibar, and this is why that Weather Service issued that trough. So this is the trough here. I'm just going to kind of draw it in, and so it's kind of like this, something like this. Okay, so the trough is here. I'm just reckoning it out, right? So that mean trough, it's in some iteration stays put. So watch. See, there it is. Ooh, deepens. There's your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's chance of some sprinkles, some showers on Tuesday, Wednesday maybe. Trough hangs out. Tries to warm up here. Like that looks like, oh, it's going to do something. And then this next lobe kicks in. So this pattern, I was going to say, that starts to ridge pretty nicely offshore. You see that bump? But then this low kind of inside slider, I would call that, which is when it kind of comes down the Central Valley and misses, kind of doesn't come off the coast, comes off the continent. But yeah, so I'm looking at this fresh with you guys. A lot of times I don't really look at this before I get with you guys just because we're doing it together, right? I mean, I curate a little bit. But anyway, you see the parade of activity of storms. And then also, if you look at this is mild weather in the East Coast right now because that's a giant trough, right? Remember that here's the trough, ridge pinched, and then giant trough. And that giant trough would indicate lower than average temperatures. And we'll probably see that. We're going to look at, so today should be cool. And then it starts to ridge out again and warm up in the east. Okay. All right, here is the GFS, sea level pressure, precipitation, and it shows thicknesses too. Thicknesses represent those dashed lines, which are temperatures. Thickness of the atmosphere, the closer to the equator, like if you take a column of air, if you take it and we heat it up, it gets taller, right? And so the thickness represents a tall, the height of that column of air. And that height corresponds to temperature. And so when you see lower thicknesses, lower columns of air being pushed our way through the model, like you're seeing here, see those dashed lines coming in? That's typically means cooler. And in the winter, you'll notice those dashed lines get real close together, and you'll see these, it becomes more obvious. We're looking for rain. Here we are, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Where are we now? Here it comes. There it is. Monday, mid-morning. Look at that. That's a little something, right? Maybe. Crescent City, Point Arena. How does that work for the fires, right? We saw a bunch of fires up there. It's awesome. That's a really awesome thing. Breaks off a little bit more up around Mount Shasta. That's on Wednesday morning. A little Lake Tahoe activity. Maybe some thunderstorms there, truthfully. That's on Thursday afternoon. And then this. You see that guy come in with the dashed lines representing dropping temperatures as well. So what is that going to all happen? Maybe. But what I do see is an unsettled pattern, which will lead to most likely milder or cooler or lower daytime temperatures. There's the parent low out here. You see that rotation, right? That's the big low. That's the pinched high. So let's do it again. So trough, upper air, and trough. Ridge is getting pinched, and then you get a trough here, right? And that ridge is going to get pushed this way, and that's why all this is moving off. But look at all that moisture. That's a lot of moisture. That's all that subtropical moisture that could have been coming North American monsoony, but isn't, because it's being scooped away by that upper level jet stream, by that deep low in the east. Okay. Lots of stuff. These maps are fun to look at. And by the way, if you look at them enough, these are the highs forecast for today. So, right, 60 degrees is going to be the high in Minneapolis, 54 degrees in International Falls, which never been there, 66 in Detroit. These are the daytime highs. So that's pretty cool for these folks. A little warmer out under the ridge, right? So let's do this again. Do you remember when we talked about yesterday being able to see the atmosphere in 3D? So let's see. Let's see, how can I do this? Okay, troughs kind of just shows here. And then the ridge, see all the heat? That's the ridge. And then see how it starts to cool down and above the trough? Something like that. The ridge is elongating and being pinched. It's not a broad ridge. By the next 3 days or so, it will become more of a broad ridge, and it'll position itself more over the plains. Okay, all right, good times, good times. I didn't really do anything special extra for you today. Usually I try to find some extra special pictures or something. But today's Saturday, we got to get on with our business. Okay, so here's the national map. Oh, and if you're having coffee with me, I think that's the way to watch these things, because that's what I do. I just have coffee and watch my monitor, and you guys are in the room with me, and then you have to hear what I'm thinking. But I do like I said yesterday, I think that the ability to look at real pictures and then look at real data and then merge the two in your mind. Like yesterday, we did that cool thing I thought it was cool, with the Chevron refinery. And I couldn't figure out it was busting through the inversion. It was not a shallow version, but an inversion fog. We're looking at the top of the fog, and the fog was flat all the way out to Diablo. And then somewhere in the mid-morning, the time lapse, it started to bubble. There was a bubble coming up. I was like, where is that? And I kind of made the assumption it might be mechanical lifting from maybe Angel Island or the Richmond Bridge or something. And then I go, no, that's Chevron refinery. In fact, that was the Chevron refinery. So, but being able to just go, there's the profiler depth, which is just above the Chevron refinery. Anyway. So here are the air quality alerts. You can see that. You got a red flag warning up in Medford and Portland. You've got flood advisories up in Alaska, Fairbanks. What's going on up there, man? Hydro Outlook, what's their deal? Not making it easy on me, boys. Let's see what we got. Flood watch until September 6th at 12, so that's a little ways off. Flooding caused by excessive rainfall continues to be possible, including the levels in the rivers. I know they worry about glaciers melting. They're not giving me a rainfall accumulation, though. Hard to say. That's a whole nother world, too, that Alaska thing, man, right? That's when they talk about weather. It's like when they talk about weather, they're talking about weather. They don't mess around. Like if they got a flood watch, there's a flood watch. Here's the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, which makes sense that it would be near normal September. Yeah. Or a little below normal. We talked about that yesterday and how the fog will mix out, so it'll actually be a little warmer in San Francisco and areas along the coast from Point Arena northward. And then precipitation, 6 to 10 days, it's going to be up a little bit too. So that makes sense based on what we looked at. So this is I stopped this on Thursday morning. I stopped it on Thursday morning because I wanted you to see, okay, so here, this is a swell model, surfline.com. We've done weather. We know it's going to happen. You know, the jacket I got on today, probably have a jacket on tomorrow. It's not cold. It's just going to be mild. So, Livermore, Concord, the Inland Bay Area cities are going to be in the low 80s, maybe mid 80s. And then each day it's going to step down. Sacramento's going to be in the mid 80s. It's just going to be well, let's take a look. I'll go back. Let's see. Is that it? Here we go. Right here. So Sacramento day's mid 80s. Tomorrow, Sacramento will be mid 80s. And I think it'll kind of drop down from there. San Francisco will be about 72 degrees. So here we are back to the swell model. This is just representing, this is surf along the coast. There's the United States, there's San Francisco. I stopped at Thursday in the morning because number one, I go, oh, there's some swell. And it's not from the south. This is wave energy coming from the Aleutians, which kind of corresponds to that rain event we're talking about or that potential for rain, kind of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And this is it right in that window. The swell legs behind the weather. The storm happens over the water. The water gets churned up, but the storm moves pretty freely because it's up high. There's not a lot of friction, right? It's free floating, essentially, tied to the jet. So it moves, it progresses. The swell kind of, and then it follows a day later, I don't know exactly how much later, but certainly it takes a day or so for the swell to group. And so this is that swell indicating that there was some energy over this area. Does that make sense? So when I look at that, I go, oh, I know it's retro because you're going, okay, this is swell that was generated from a storm that dropped rain on us Tuesday, but the swell's now filling in. But that's how the weather works. But I just like it, the idea that you can, that's a significant size swell. I mean, look at let's see if I can view forecast. Let's see what this, I don't know if I want that. Nah, didn't want that. Well, we'll just move back to here. We'll take, here it is. The swell, 15 feet, 13 seconds. There's some of this swell off San Francisco. This is just forecast stuff. I think I saw 19 seconds. That orange there's sort of a 19-second sort of a southwesterly swell in the mix. But anyway, yeah, that'd be interesting. That 19 seconds, that would be from the south. But anyway, that's a neat map, and it just sort of duplicates what we know is going to happen. So here's the Ocean Beach camera. These are some hardy souls going out. I told you I read that the shark comments on that shark thing I did a few weeks ago. And God, I'm like, oh my God, because I always thought it was just me, and because I have really good animal luck. I see stuff in the water all the time, and not all the time, but I see stuff. If there's a bear, I'll see it. If there's a rattlesnake, I'll see it. If there's a white shark, I'll see it. I just do. And usually I'm alone, which is the worst. But so I've seen had a lot of stories told to me, and had my share of getting pushed out of the water and by sharks. And when I read the stories, I'm like, oh my God, because encounters don't get reported. Bites get reported, but encounters don't, shark encounters. So the shark encounters are ubiquitous. And a shark encounter is just, I just saw a dorsal go by, and I paddled in and went and had a ham sandwich, right? That happens all day and all night. And I didn't know. The guy texted me, this is Santa Cruz. Guy texted me yesterday, I think, day before, and he used to fly out of LA all the time, LAX, and he said when he'd take off out of Malibu, LAX is kind of in that Point Conception area, obviously, and he goes, you could see, every once in a while you'd see a big dark shadow. I mean, this is back in the day, it makes sense. Water's pretty clear, and they're big, and we just never saw them that much because we weren't really looking for them, right? We didn't have stand-up paddle boards and drones. This is, okay, I'm going to say it. That's depressing. That's Pacifica Pleasure Point. Well, it's not depressing. Everybody's having fun. They're all learning, but just that many people. There's not many ways, right? So I don't know how you're going to get your nut today surfing. You're not. That's why I'm not going. It's better. What's happening is on these smarties, which is, I shouldn't say it's not depressing, but it kind of reminds me of the 50s. Malibu was like that in the 50s when it got really crowded. The Gidget thing got really crowded, and people forget that. But surf was packed back in the early 60s, packed. But people didn't know there weren't that many places to go. People didn't know to go to even Rincon at that time. But Malibu was packed, and I remember Dora and Lance and all those guys were bombing out the crowds. And then it wasn't sustainable. It stayed crowded, but not like it was. And I think that's where we are now. I don't think this crowd situation in the surf is that sustainable. I think people are going to get tired of it because it's a lot of posturing, and we've talked about it. The Mount Shasta is a beautiful day up there. Smoke, not a problem for them at all. Here is Whitney. Let's see what's going on. They had a little shower activity yesterday. Mount Whitney's stunning, named after Whitney. I think it's Charles Whitney. I think Brewer named it after him. Or is it Charles Brewer? I can't remember. Beautiful day. Oh, they got some air quality there, right? So that southwest wind is scouring out the Bishop area. I'm good. I'm glad you guys are getting one. Here are jellyfish, because that's what we do. They're upside down. There's one right side up, or is he upside down? Right? Okay. Yeah, I love you guys. Nobody's messing with that one. This is a North Star. I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun. Mountain biking. I remember one time. Oh, dang, I was going to show that jump. So these are they take the bikes up there. Looks like a slow day. Looks like a sick job, though. This guy looks it must be cold. Yeah. Some of these guys are wearing jackets. And I guess it would make sense to be cold up around Lake Tahoe. Anyway, that's fun. I think you should ride your bike up the hill. But I guess you'd get exhausting after a while. Here is the Farallon Islands, part of the Farallon. I think this is the North Farallon Island and Devil's Teeth. This is the breeding ground for a lot of birds. Oh, I like it when you do that. I like when they do that. Someone knows we're watching it. Those are probably cormorants in the rocks. They're laying their eggs. Puffins, I think, are done with their deal for now. It's the feeling I'm getting. And then, I wanted to show you this. I don't know if I have enough time. I may run out of camera. This little guy's mom's going, okay, let's get out of here. And little guy's going, no, dude, I want some of this. This is actually about a half hour ago. I think I keyed it up right. So it's raining. Big bears everywhere. If I run out of camera, okay, watch. Baby's going, dude, I got it. Watch mom. Mom's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can show you how to do this. Little bear's going, no, I can do it, Mom. Everybody's doing it. Why can't I do it? I want an electric bike. I can do it. Mom's going, I don't know, man. I don't know. So watch Mom. Mom's going to spin here in a minute, if we're lucky, and the camera doesn't run out. And come on. The bears are getting big. Okay, here she goes. She's tentative. Something's got her on her mind. Her cub's kind of a little timid here. Thanks for your patience. This is worth it. Hang in. That whole thing where they say, like on the internet, wait for, okay, Mom, watch this, where Mom bolts. She's going, I'm out of here, dude. Watch, here she goes. She's going to bolt. Come on. Come on. Bolts, and then Knucklehead slips. It's like, oh, God. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Okay. Mom, where'd you go? Where'd you go, Mom? Wait, it gets better. I mean, she's okay. Everything ends up okay, trust me. But this is just like, oh, bummer. Oh, bummer. Oh, bummer. Then, long hold down. Like, that's a long hold down. She's down for a while. I was like, God dang it. I'm sure Mom's fretting. Look at her. Oh. All right. Bears, they're awesome. Okay. Have a great day. I'll see you back. I probably won't be. Oh, there's Mama. I'll see you back here on. She's going to fish the baby out. I probably should have led with that. Okay, I'll see you back here. Oh, that's kind of fun too. This is all pre-recorded stuff. I guess that's optical. Yeah, it almost looks like they're hanging. Look at the claws on that thing. Okay, we're definitely going to run out of time here, but I'm just going to let this thing roll. Wow. All right. Yeah, if you're still here, you're awesome. But how do you not? Okay, I think there's another shot. Okay, so again, I apologize if the thing just cuts, but I'm in. And if I get up, then I might miss something. I think these are highlights from the morning. Okay, yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, I'll see you back here.